why have you done this to us? And Jesus' response, did you not know that I would be in my Father's house? But they did not understand what he said to them. With the gift of hindsight that we have today, we could say that Jesus was talking about that he was God's son, that he was very much aware of it. And given the history of Mary's conception and all the dreams that Joseph had, you would think that they would have understood. But there's something we don't understand about this exchange, is that every Jewish male thought of God as his father. And the highest goal for all Jewish males was to study Torah, the first 5 books, and to sit in temple and talk about those books with the rabbis and the elders and those other people that were studying them. And they have great discussions and debates about what the scriptures mean. And here is this lad of perhaps 12 who's able to hold his own. And they were amazed at this. And Jesus was just doing what all Jewish boys hope to do. But nonetheless, when he got caught, he did go home with mom and dad and was obedient to them. So we see here a small glimpse of what life was like for this holy family. And before you start saying how perfect a family it was, let me stop you, because it's just like some of our families today. Joseph's a stepfather. Mary's the mother, Jesus the child. So if you will, some of these people that say, oh, the family is breaking down, the family is breaking down. No, it's not. Families come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. From couples who have been married, like my grandparents, for 74 years, to those that are divorced, like myself, to families that have stepchildren forever in 3 days, like my extended family, or you have same-sex couples raising children successfully, you have single moms and single dads, all families. And you have extended families beyond that. As you heard from the gospel, that Mary and Joseph were traveling with family, and they thought Jesus was one of them. So we obviously see that there's this extended group involved. But what we see happening here also talks about some of the trials and tribulations of family life. The anxieties these parents felt when their child disappeared. Short story. I got lost once, 14 hours, out in Ohio. And I was chasing kittens that belonged to my aunt, Fanny. And I went down this country road, and I had no idea where I was. I had no idea how to get back. And I kept walking. Never thought to go back the other way. I just kept walking forward. And finally found another house out on this country road in the middle of nowhere. The light was on, thankfully. And they took me back into town to the police station. And they said, well, what's your parents' names? Mom, Dad. You know, I didn't know. Well, who are you visiting? Aunt Fanny? You know her last name? No. It's a town of about 3,000 people. But luckily this little town was all on a party line. So he picks up the phone, and within 15 minutes the word had gotten around this town, and they came to get me. And while there was great rejoicing when I was back home, I won't tell you what happened after I got home. You can imagine. So, we exist in this family structure. And this structure is one that's based on love. There's nothing like holding that newborn child in your arms and then developing that love as time goes on. And you don't care about the various things that go on in that child's life. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to bring joys. They're going to bring sorrows. The same thing in an interaction between spouses. But it is love, it is the overwhelming sense that keeps things together. And you hear and see that in the scriptures today.